All right, welcome to Scalable and Saleable, where we find out what great entrepreneurs have done to scale their businesses to millions. Stay right here for the next few minutes to leverage validated methodologies for growth and create a way more scalable and sellable business for yourself. Let's get started. Thank you again for being here. Would you mind telling our audience just a little bit more about you and what your business is?
Thanks. My name is Greg Johnson. I'm the owner of Staff Now. We are a supply chain staffing firm headquartered out of Phoenix, Arizona. We do business in multiple locations throughout the United States. Been at this for several years. I think this is my third round of business ownership and entrepreneurialism. So I'm loving every minute of it because COVID has basically accelerated the growth in the talent space that we serve.
Yeah, and speaking of your growth, you have made the Inc. 5000. What do you attribute your growth to?
Um, you know, Timing, adoption, and a great culture. Really have a good team that really goes at it. We work really, really hard at building a strong foundation. We really work on executing. You know what I mean? Great ideas, great technologies, all those are great, but we really focus on execution. And I think that's really making a difference for us.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing a lot of times for the visionary entrepreneur is they can have the ideas and the plan, but a lot of times can fall short on the execution of those plans. So well done.
Thanks.
I'm sure you've learned a lot along the way, having started 3 different companies, based off of all your past experiences. If you were coming into a 4th brand new company, starting from scratch, what would be some of the first things that you think you do to start growing that business?
You know, I really believe if you have the right people, as part of your initial core group, your team, there's not much that can stop you if you know exactly what your objective is, you have clarity. Your market focus is really truly about, making things quick, easy, and simple for people. You know what I mean? And then being flexible and, adapting to what's going on in the market space. And if
Mm,
you can do that, you notice I didn't say access to capital and some of those normal things that you hear, all of us, we always need more of that. But
right.
when you have true believers and you really go at it and you guys are all bought into what's happening, I think it's really tough to stop a great
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Um, what do you feel most small business owners do wrong?
They try to do everything. I'm a big fan of Dan Sullivan's Who Not How principles,
Mm,
and finding unique abilities
mm,
and leaning and learning into that. And then finding the who's around you, finding those people who can really handle those functional activities that are needed within the business, and then just empowering them to do what they're great at while you focus on the thing that you're great at. And if you can do that simultaneously, you can build an amazing business.
yeah, man, I don't know why it is so hard for so many entrepreneurs to do what you just said and to not do this and do this. And I hear it all the time, I'm so busy, I don't have time and they they just for some reason really struggle with that too.
I think it's ego, right? A lot of us think that we're super important and we're the best guy for the job or whatever else that is. And I'm the opposite. I want to take myself out of that formula. I want a self-managing company. I want something to operate that doesn't depend on Greg at all. And that's the objective from day one.
From day one
Yeah,
is how do you make yourself obsolete?
you got it.
Yeah. Um, what's been the most influential book that you've read or listened to?
Well, I just mentioned that one recently, Who Not How. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of his. The good to great. Everyone. Again, it seems, I guess popular, but really the principles of the flywheel and understanding your marketplace, how you operate, those kinds of things. We apply those. The SMAC recipe. We generally have that. We live by those things, those edicts in our operation mode. It really is the recipe of how we operate our business. And so Jim Collins and Dan Sullivan, those 2 guys, any books that they
Yeah,
do,
those 2 greats, yeah, for sure.
you
You
got it.
just made me think I need to go revisit our flywheel
Yeah,
again. It's been a minute.
yeah.
If you could go back in time to when you were first starting out 3 companies ago and say one thing to younger you, what would you say?
Wow. I think it's kind of similar what I did, but my first 10 years in the workforce, or as I did it, I took every opportunity that I had as skill development. I didn't look at it from an economics perspective as much as each step along the way, I needed to add skills to my basket of, you know, abilities to grow and scale a business. So knowing as an entrepreneur that I wanted to learn how, enough about numbers, enough about marketing, enough about sales, and then finding that area where I liked and I enjoyed, whether it was technology or whatever. And then I had enough of an understanding that I said, okay, I like this aspect of my business. So communication and those kinds of things, the coaching and leadership was things that were important to me. And so once I understood that, I can now really use that skill set because I have a baseline of understanding for everything else. So my first 10 years, that's what I would encourage people, just to build those skills. And maybe it's accelerated nowadays, I'm a little bit older, but
Yeah,
just focus on those skill sets. And once you get those skills to a certain level of aptitude and baseline and comfortability, then you can execute.
I love that. Everything you do was skill development. That's awesome. Um, what question should I be asking you that I haven't?
Oh man. In this space today, which is interesting, we're in this wonderful talent acquisition world, right? And everyone has challenges about, the workforce, and in this economy where everything's going down, we're still looking for people. People seem to, even though you're hearing layoffs, um, you know, the recruiting space and acquiring talent is really a challenge for a lot of folks. What I think I want most folks to understand is that the world's changed. The old industrial mindset when it comes to hiring people, that's not relevant today. And so more and more people have to start looking at talent acquisition as an asset piece, as an asset class, not an expense piece.
Yeah,
And so that's sort of what we focus on advocating to, especially small business owners who don't typically have an in-house recruiting team. So
right.
they got to start looking at this from a different perspective because the world's moving very, very quickly. And a lot of us are being left behind thinking that, it's about people and it's really about process and systems that are set up inappropriately.
Yeah, and I know for sure because I know a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of CEOs, and they are talking about talent acquisition, and keeping, hiring, retaining people.
Yeah,
They're all struggling with it. It's been a moving
right.
target for a couple years, you know.
Yeah. And
Um,
yeah, culture is key. Treating people well, making sure that people really, it sounds crazy, but people have a place that they believe in, and a mission that they can get behind. It really sounds tongue in cheek, but it really does matter, especially
yeah,
to the generation.
yeah, yeah. Any parting words of advice, wisdom for the entrepreneurs in the trenches,
Yeah,
fighting every day?
yeah. Don't think too long. Go do it. Execute. Those things are, you'll figure it out along the way. There's a million great ideas, but there's really not that many great executioners. So if you can become that, you can do well.